Greetings. Earlier today, I was on Berean TV, and right after I finished there, someone in the live chat informed me that Sista E had gone live on her channel and that she had mentioned me among others. So I went over to Sista E's channel and I left a comment in the live chat, and that's the comment that you see on your screen now. And she invited me on to her show to discuss the Katz controversy. Now, I feel that our brief conversation offered some helpful clarifications, so I'm going to play it in its entirety here. Before I do so, however, I wanted to also show something else from Sista E, which I have not previously shown on this channel, and it's what she said back on December 21st, 2020, in the immediate wake of the Katz controversy. You see, my initial video on the Katz sock puppet dropped on December 20th of 2020, and Pastor Kelly promised to go live the very next day. He wound up canceling that evening show, so Sista E went live instead that evening. I think this clip provides an interesting look at the sort of mix of uncertainty and trust in the good doctor that was swirling around in her at that time. Also, I think it provides a helpful bookend of sorts where we can juxtapose what it was like at the start with how things are now, a little over 2 years later. So this clip will run for a little less than 2.5 minutes. It's actually a compilation of 2 clips, so I'll post the timestamps noting the precise places where these clips can be found. And of course, I'll also share a link in the video description. So let's watch this, and then we'll get to the discussion that Sista E and I had today. And fair use.
The pews. Y'all in these pews, but y'all shall see. The fight is not over yet. That's all I got to say. I'm not saying nothing else. They have sworn me to secrecy. I am not telling the secrets. So you all, I am not, stop getting me to tell the secrets. I'm not going to tell the secrets. Stop it. Y'all gonna have to wait. I am not finna tell the secrets, but it's very interesting. So just wait. Pastor Kelly's thing, I think is gonna be good. That I know of. I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's some decent information. Y'all, my throat. So y'all know we don't walk away without fighting. That's all I gotta say. Not telling the secrets. Definitely not telling the secrets. I will get voted off the island if I tell the secrets. Put it like this, there's a reason why I'm tired right now. And I was not going to go live today because I thought Pastor Kelly was going to go live. And I said, I'm just going to sit in the chat. And then he says, hey, not going live. I said, wow. Well, I saw it just like y'all. And then y'all just said, hey, Sista E go live. I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. But just know that the fight is not over. Oh, wow. This world is amusing. Was Abu caught lying about something regarding the pews? Y'all keep trying to get me to tell all the secrets. They keeping it as Kelly's not telling me a lot either, though. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know as much as I normally. Not that he's not telling me. It's just been a busy day that I have not really got a chance to talk to anybody. Because everybody's trying to wrap up from work for the holidays, so I'm in the office. Oh, God.
Okay, so having seen that, we can now jump into the discussion which Sista E and I had today on her channel. The discussion lasted about 12 minutes, and I'll play here the entire discussion, like I said earlier, including a portion where I briefly share with her the idea of me playing the discussion on my own channel. Now, quick technical note, on a couple of occasions, I mentioned a correspondence I had with Yeshaya Ma'arab, also known as Mr. Blacktastic, and checking that correspondence after the discussion, I see now that it was slightly different from how I remembered it and how I described it in the discussion. So at a certain point, I'm going to put the whole discussion on the screen so those who are interested can see precisely what was said and contrast it with how I remembered it. But whatever the case, I found this brief conversation between Sista E and myself helpful. I found it helpful and valuable. You see, Sista E makes clear that she did not intend to give the impression that Benayah Israel's argument about Katz had somehow settled the matter. And I have a previous video about, how confident Sista E seemed about Benayah's argument in the past. But in this discussion, she makes clear that she was not convinced by Benayah's argument. So I appreciate that. And interestingly, she even proposes that perhaps Benayah himself did not consider the argument as definitively closing the matter. Now, I'm not sure where Benayah himself actually stands on that. But either way, as I say in the discussion, I think this takes Sista E out of the Katz discussion. In my opinion, the only thing that ever put her in the discussion in the first place was her apparent defense of the sock puppet. The one time she seemed to confidently assert the existence of Katz was in that show from April of 2021, but today she stated that that was not her intention. She made clear that she was not and is not as confident as she might have seemed. So in the interest of charity, I'll accept her at her word. And so with that, like I said, I'm going to play the entire discussion, and this will run for about 12 minutes. And then after our discussion ends, as a bit of closing audio, I'll also play some statements that she made on Berean TV a little less than 3 weeks ago. And with that, enjoy the discussion, and afterwards, share any comments, questions, or criticisms you might have. And as always, God bless.
Yes, Abu. So I want you to come up here, and I want you... Oh, yes, I mentioned you. So come on up here. Not afraid to talk to you. See, I think the problem with you, Abu, come on up here. Only give this to Abu to come up. Abu, you're welcome to come up. This will be your first time. This will be your first time, possibly your last time. So nobody's scared of you. So come on up. Yes, and I'll be respectful and polite as well. So, Abu, so are you saying that I'm lying and I said I know Katz?
I'm not sure I even mentioned you, but no, definitely not.
So I have a question. Have I ever mentioned Katz, said that I know Katz or I've talked to Katz? Have I ever said that I met Katz?
No, I've definitely, nor did I say you said you met Katz.
Okay, so what's your point with Katz and me? Let's go ahead and hash that out.
Okay, well, just to be fair, if this is a reaction to what was just on Berean, I don't think I mentioned you. I was talking about where certain other people went, and I can get to you and Katz in a moment, but it was where other people went with the Katz thing, where it wasn't just Katz by itself. It was then the claim that Katz had to go into hiding, and then the claim about, government watch lists and all this kind of stuff, But as far as you are concerned, I think the one time where you did weigh in on the Katz thing, where you did seem somewhat confident, was when you had Benayah on in April of, was it 2021? Yeah, April of 2021. Where he put forth the argument that Katz is this guy in Georgia who's a scholar of Gothic languages. At that point, it did seem like you were co-signing what Benayah was saying. Now, one thing that's interesting to note, recently I had a correspondence in some live chat with Blacktastic, and he came to your defense on that. He said that people need to understand that even if it seemed like you were agreeing in that moment, sometimes we can be roped into something, into agreeing with something that maybe we don't fully understand what we're agreeing with or something like that. Nothing disrespectful to you. The point is, he was saying that if it's a one-off, we can't center everything on it. I think that's an interesting point by Blacktastic. So, maybe I shouldn't hold that against you. That was his argument. But yeah, that was the one time that you did seem confident. Otherwise, you've mostly been silent on it and would redirect it, as you said.
Okay.
Now, here's, if I could say one last thing, forgive me, and I apologize for interrupting. I have never argued that the Katz thing has to be put on everybody, right? As far as I was concerned, in the beginning, I was even willing to say that even Kelly was exempt from that. I remember when it first broke, Kelly had a very interesting community post about deception and stuff like that. But whatever the case. So I was even willing not to put it on Kelly, I think. And so I definitely wasn't going to put it on you. And I'd never claimed that it has to go on the entire Israelite spectrum. I think it only applies to people who attempt to defend it, who put themselves into the conversation. And I think where your name came up for me was then in April of 2021, when you had Benayah on and you seemed to be co-signing his position. And go ahead, I'll yield. Sorry about that.
So I was more so co-signing the fact that he discovered some information. But far as co-signing, saying that that's Katz, do you think that I was 100% backing him up, or was I just agreeing with the conversation that we had? Said, okay, yeah, that's good information.
You want my honest impression? My honest impression was at the time, now I could be wrong about this. My honest impression was that you were saying that he was correct in shutting down the argument, that all the cat stuff was nonsense, and that now people owe Brown an apology. You know, it seemed to me like you were agreeing that he shut down the whole argument, not that he was bringing an interesting point that needs to be considered in the debate.
Okay, so ultimately, when we had that conversation and he brought that up, I was agreeing with the fact of he said that he discovered who Katz was. Still not saying that that was Katz. I would just say, okay, cool. If that's true, and I maybe not have said if, I should have said if that's true, then yes, they do need to apologize to Brown if that's Katz. But far as me saying beyond a shadow of a doubt, that's Katz, and I know that's Katz, I've never said that. And I've never hold that position. Now, am I in agreement with all the stuff that transpired? No, I am not in agreement with it. That's why I've always said, take it to Brown. Brown is the point of contact when it comes to the Katz conversation. We only went off of information that was provided to us, but never any of us have ever said, we've met Katz. I know that's Katz. I know that is Katz. None of us have ever said that. So I will need you to do this, Abu. When they do bring my name up on Berean's channel as pertains to that, as if I am pushing the argument, I need you to make them aware that I've said, and I've said it numerous times, I don't know who Katz is. I'm only agreeing with the conversation at hand to say, okay, if that's Katz, let's proceed from here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll say this, and this ties back in with Blacktastic's recent defense of you. If your position now is that you were not necessarily saying it's...
Don't say
no, I'm
now.
saying... okay, what I'm saying... Okay, let me try to phrase this in a more, polite way. I apologize if that sounded disrespectful. That wasn't my intention. If you're clarifying that you were not saying that Benayah's presentation shut down the discussion on Katz, then that's fine. Honestly, it takes you out of the discussion because that's the only time I can think of where you seem to be involved in it. So if that's your explanation, that takes, in keeping with Blacktastic's defense of you recently, I think it takes you out of the conversation. So yeah, I'd be happy to say that. And if you want, I can even, if it's okay with you, I can even put this conversation on my own channel,
okay,
and link back. Anything I take from your channel, I always link back to the video I took it from. So that way people can see the fuller context.
And I understand that, but I will say this much, Abu, at times you'll do play it like, see, that's what she said. Understand that, you know how you went on a conversation with someone and they bring some information to you. And you say, okay, yeah, if this is true, yes, they do need to apologize to Brown. But I have never, ever held to the argument of that's Katz. Benayah said he found the information. I was good with the information. If we find out later on down the line that there is no Katz, I am good with it. Either or, that does not destroy me, because never once have I stood in solidarity and said solidarity with the community to say I've met Katz and I know that's Katz. I've never said that.
Well, just to be fair, though, I don't think anyone was saying that you claim to have met Katz. Just to be clear.
Yeah. But the thing is, I've had numerous phone calls today within the past 15 minutes that the argument on Berean's channel is being spun that I'm lying, and I know. And I saw when you said in the chat, because I saw it myself, when you made the I guess the notion that I might be lying. That's not fair, because I've never said that I've known him.
I'm not sure I remember that. I'd have to see what
that's
the
the one
is.
when
Did someone send you a screenshot?
No, that's when I saw when Blacktastic said I honestly believe. Well, you tell me, when Blacktastic supported my argument and said, no, none of us knows Katz. Why was he saying that?
What he was saying is that what I was saying is that it seemed like you clearly believed. Well, let me rephrase that. What I was saying was that when you had Benayah on in April of 2021, it seemed to me that you were clearly, this is what I was saying at the time. It seemed to me that you were clearly co-signing his argument. Blacktastic was saying, just because it seems that way, that doesn't mean that she actually agreed with it. You have to understand that these conversations, when they're going live, sometimes a person can say something and, not intend it the way it seems and stuff like that, And so, so it seems now you're saying that what you intended is different from how I interpreted it. That was Blacktastic's argument. Okay, I'll accept it. But yeah, I was merely saying that you seemed quite confident. So here's what the contrast was. The contrast was between that presentation in April of 2021, when you had Benayah on, and what came out with the private conversation with a portion of the Yap gang, where you said you're 95% certain that the Katz thing was a lie, right? And so I was contrasting the two things and saying she seemed basically 100% certain when she was with Benayah. And that's when Blacktastic stepped in and argued in your defense that I shouldn't build too much. And so, by the way, I hope you'll at least say quietly in your heart, credit to Blacktastic. He was saying that I shouldn't build too much on that one video, because sometimes, you know, when we're in these live discussions with people we're friends with, people we're cool with, sometimes we just sort of go along, and things that aren't intended, impressions that aren't intended may be given. That was his argument, and you seem to be corroborating to some extent his argument.
And before you all go do hit pieces on Benayah was not saying that he met Katz. He said that he found.
No, of course not. Nobody's saying that's the argument.
I want you to make sure that y'all. I'm sorry, you're good. I want to make sure that you do not go and do that as well, because what's going on is there are credible people that's just as, I don't want to say in the dark, but still have never met Katz, and I don't need them to be drugged in the mud as if they're lying. Well, that's not the intention. Oh, his device got disconnected. So it says device not connected. So I guess something happened to his phone. I'll wait for him to come up. Hold on one second.
Sorry.
All right, Abu. You're good.
What I was going to say is, I don't think anyone claimed that Benayah or Kelly or you or anyone else was saying that they met Katz. What the issue was is that, and I found that very unfortunate. I think if anyone looks at my videos where I mentioned Benayah before April of 2021, I spoke about him very glowingly and respectfully. I think that was an unfortunate turn. It seemed to me that he clearly, unambiguously, not claiming that he met Katz, but claiming that, you know, here it is, the argument is being shut down. You know, that seemed to be his clear argument, that it's being shut down by pointing to this guy in Georgia who doesn't seem to have any background in Hebrew. You know, it's a person in a completely different continent. It was an unfortunate turn. And so, but yeah, the argument was never that people were claiming to have met Katz, although Kelly recently claimed that there's an audio clip of Katz's voice, and that he also said he somehow confirmed Katz. I don't know what he meant by that. He kept it kind of vague. Whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm good. Anything else?
Was that all you wanted to discuss? I mean, I'm happy to. I know there's a lot in the chat. I can always jump off if you want me to jump off.
Well, I'm getting ready to close. I just want to clarify what was going on Berean's channel. That's not true. Like I said. Okay.
Hopefully, Berean keeps it up. We can listen closely to what he said. I don't think you were brought up within. Okay. I certainly didn't mention you explicitly with Katz. At least I don't think so. But we'll see. We'll check the replay.
Okay. So just make sure that when they say that whenever they try to pull that subject point up, that you clarify that we've had this discussion and we should be good now. So ultimately, I do want to see, do they have those 10 sources yet? I would love to see Blacktastic and Dante debate.
I don't know about that. I haven't been following that controversy too closely.
Okay. I would love to see that debate. So, all right. Well, I'm getting ready to close because I got to get back. I just got off of lunch. So, all righty. Thanks
for having me on. A good conversation.
Right. Yeah, and it's an ugly topic too. And the reason why people are like, well, E, why don't you blast him? Right now, our community is still rebuilding from this incident. Me blasting Majors publicly, because again, I'm 95% sure think that Majors is live. You have never heard me say, yes, there's a Katz. Yes, I know there's a Katz. There's a Katz. Has anybody ever heard me say
you didn't. No, you didn't.
So with that being said, with them saying that I said 95%, yes, have you ever seen me and Brown rock together? Other than when he wanted to present Katz.
Not as much as Kelly, no.
I only rock with Dante, Teo, and different people in my community. I can't call anybody a liar until I fully have the information. Do I trust him? So be it. No, I don't. If I don't trust him, that's me. And again, I'm not saying anything. I'm not mincing my words. I said what I said in the private conversation with Yap. Let's call that out. I will never mince my words. I said it. Yes, I said 95%. And I'm going to stand on what I said. I said it in a private conversation with Yap. Let me emphasize this. A private conversation because I felt some kind of way. I was pissed off and I was upset. And I said it in a private conversation because I was upset, and I'm still upset about the whole situation.